Hello, hello, my beautiful pearls. I hope you're having a great day. I'm having a very nice day. I started it with meditation and doing my morning routines, and those actually prime me for the rest of the day. So I hope you actually also have your own morning routines. I highly recommend those because they keep you upbeat and, they prime your day and they make you feel like you have all the energy in the world. And I actually started those because I was struggling with today's topic. Today's topic is going to be about procrastination. And as you have seen in the post, procrastination is a big thing, right? And we all go through it sometimes in our lives. So today we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be together for around almost an hour, but I want you to stay tuned until the end because at the end I'm going to give you a special invitation. And throughout the live today, we're going to be talking about very important things related to procrastination, and also I'm going to be giving you a lot of tips. So stay tuned and obviously enjoy, and hopefully I'm going to be sharing some insights that will help you in your own life. So let me tell you a little story about how I struggled personally with procrastination. So a few years ago, I actually wanted to do a lot of things and I had so many ideas in my mind. I really wanted to go and conquer the world. So every time like there was this TV show that I really, really wanted to do it. And I started working on it. I did all the preparation. I prepared the presentation. I even went all the way to get some producer involved. And I got some quotations to produce the whole thing. And I was so excited about it. And then suddenly, that excitement just completely vanished, like out of nowhere. But it's not really out of nowhere. Now I know it wasn't out of nowhere. So after that, I came up with another idea. Okay, so let's do a podcast. I wanted to do a podcast about something that I'm very, very passionate about, which is biking. And the TV show, by the way, was also about biking. So I was very excited about that. And I wanted to do that too. And again, I got the tools, I got everything required for the podcast. So I would record and go live. And then suddenly, as well, that passion or that excitement just disappeared. And another idea, and another idea, and another idea. So I was like that for over over a year. And then I realized I stopped and I started thinking, and I'm like, why am I doing all this? Why am I always stopping those ideas? Why do I always not finish, not follow through? What is happening? And then I realized that this was not actually something new, that I had this as a pattern. It was something that started with me a long time ago. And this was such an eye opener when I started asking myself those questions as to why am I doing this? So I realized that I was also self sabotaging myself because I was afraid. That was the answer. The answer was my fear. And I had so many things that I wanted to do, so many ideas that I wanted to fulfill for myself and succeed in. And there was this fear that, when you reach this point that things are going to happen. So that was what was happening with me. So the minute I reached that point where things were about to materialize and things were about to happen for me, I would sabotage it somehow. So this self-sabotage was the result of my fear. What fear, you would ask? I was afraid to succeed. I was afraid to become someone who has a lot of, you know, responsibilities. Because with success come a lot of responsibilities. So I was afraid because of that. So when I realized this, first of all, I decided to do something about it. So two things. First, I realized that there was a problem. And second, I decided to do something about it. And the reason why I'm stressing these 2 points is because if you are going through this same situation, the first thing you want to do is you want to actually realize that you have an issue, or there is an issue, or you have a problem, which is called procrastination. And for those of you who are not really familiar with the word, procrastination is basically putting things, like pushing things time-wise and putting them on the side and coming back to them, maybe coming back to them later, So you always keep putting things like off in time. Sometimes you get back to them, and then when you get back to them after pushing them for so long, specifically if they are like work-related tasks or something like that, the more you push them and you get closer to, let's say you have deadlines and stuff like that. So the more you push them, eventually you're going to have to do those tasks, right? Then if you are very limited in your time, when you do those tasks, you will be doing them very poorly. So this is one thing about just pushing things to the very last minute. This is procrastination. This is not wanting to do those things. And there's a reason why we procrastinate. I'm going to go through that just in a bit. But sometimes also, sometimes you push things and you do them the very last minute and the result will be poor. And sometimes you even don't do them. Like what happened with me. Like I didn't do any of those ideas, or I didn't execute any of those ideas that I wanted to for myself. So this is how procrastination works. You keep on pushing and pushing and pushing. You either do things poorly or you don't do them at all. Now, the good thing is that you can actually fix that. It's not something that cannot be fixed. So once you realize that you have this problem, the second part is deciding to do something about it. So realizing it and not doing anything, or not wanting to do anything about it, will not help, right? You got to decide, you want to decide to do something about it. And the minute you decide to do something about it, then it becomes easier for you to go through that process, because there is a process and there is a way to get out of procrastination. If I did it, you can do it. So I'm sure that the minute you understand where you are on that spectrum, are you procrastinating in the like not very commonly, or sometimes you procrastinate and the rest of the time you are living your life in a normal way, or you procrastinate all the time? And these are two different types of procrastination. The first type, which is the one that you don't do very often, you don't do all the time, but you do it in very specific times. This is the acute procrastination. So it's not really very deep. The second type of procrastination that you have, that anyone can have, is the chronic procrastination. And that's the one that I had, because I was doing that all the time and never following through. And I wasn't doing it only in those years when I was thinking of those podcasts and the TV show. No, I was doing it way before that, just without realizing it. So that's the chronic one. It's so deep and it goes back to so many different reasons that we go through in our life. Before I go into the chronic procrastination, because that's the deeper one, let me just give you an idea about how acute procrastination works. So acute procrastination basically is kind of like you having an off day, being in, it has so many reasons, but it feels like you're having an off day or something is wrong today. you know. The main reasons of acute procrastination. First of all, you have a very low energy. So sometimes you wake up, people say like they wake up on the wrong side of the bed. You wake up with low energy and you don't feel like you're going to be able to do anything on that day. So this is like one of the reasons why you procrastinate. And that's again the procrastination that is kind of having a day off. Also, you could be emotionally irritated. Something has irritated you and you just don't feel like today is a day for you where you want to do big tasks or you want to do something important, you know. Another thing is sometimes you are put in a situation where you're going to have to do tasks that you actually don't like. So you keep on pushing them and procrastinating on those tasks. Sometimes you are put in projects where you're going to have to work with people that you don't enjoy working with. So also you keep on pushing and you keep on like putting this aside. Maybe I'll come back to it later and I'll do it later. And then again, you do it later, but you do it like very late. And the result becomes really poor, right? The other thing is sometimes the task itself appears to be so hard and you feel like you don't have the right what do you call them the right tools to use for that task, right? So you also keep on procrastinating on that task specifically. But these and similar reasons, you know, all the reasons that fall in that area, these are the main reasons for acute procrastination, which is the procrastination that happens every now and then. It's not something that you do all the time. Versus the chronic procrastination. Now, the chronic procrastination is way much deeper and has a very, very deep reason for it to start appearing in your life. Those reasons are not just one, because there are so many reasons, but all of those reasons are deeper than just having a bad day. The first reason is not having the assertiveness that you would want to have to accomplish things and to do things. Having fear, just like I had, and fear can be several fears, and I'll talk to you about that just in a minute. And self-sabotage. So these kind of fall in the same perspective. And all these, you can work on them because assertiveness or lack of it, and fears and sabotage or self-sabotage, these are limiting beliefs that you can get out of. And you can get out of those by doing some limiting belief work. So it's not like, okay, I want to get out of them, and you would get out of them. Actually, you can if you really truly mean it. It's a mindset. But it's easier said than done for some people. It's not necessarily easy for everybody. So you want to work on those limiting beliefs when it comes to chronic procrastination. Another reason why people procrastinate, like on a chronic level, is putting really high expectations on yourself or high goals and not having the skills to follow through or to achieve those goals. So, and maybe this was what happened with me when I was creating all those ideas. Maybe my goals at that time were really very high for me to achieve, but that's all in my brain. It's not true. It's all in my brain. Because in my case, it was my fear of success. And I told you, I'm going to tell you about fear because fear is split into two in this case. You have the fear of success and you have the fear of failure. They kind of go hand in hand, but they are different. Fear of success is not being able to handle the pressure that you would get once you succeed and the responsibility that comes with success. So this is mainly the fear of success. And the fear of failure is obviously the fear of not being able to do things right. Excuse me. So it's the fear of like not being able to do things right, or obviously failing. And what would people say about our failure? That comes also in line with the fear of judgment or being judged. So these two fears, they are also very, very important when it comes to procrastination, because they both can lead to procrastination. Another reason why people can procrastinate is not having certain skills to do whatever they aspire to do. Like sometimes we have goals, or we have dreams that we want to achieve, but we don't really have the skills to get us to those dreams or to help us achieve those dreams. And because of that, we keep on procrastinating. And one of the major reasons also why people procrastinate is perfectionism. So people want things to be perfect. And this was something that also I was having. I used to be a perfectionist. I wanted things to be right in this way and very meticulously done. Everything has to be perfect. And we both know, you and me, or all of us, we all know that perfection does not exist. So setting perfection as your kind of goal on everything that you do will definitely lead you to procrastinate. So I say no to procrastination. I say no to perfection. Actually, this is a mantra that I use every day. I don't do procrastination or perfection. Maybe you want to take it and start using it. I don't do procrastination or perfection. So I use this mantra all the time. And it helps me a lot because, as I said, I used to struggle with procrastination. And just sometimes there are times where you feel like you're gonna just go back there, and you want to be very alert and very awake and very aware of all those situations, so that whenever you are in that space that you might be now starting to procrastinate, you are alert, and you wake up and you say that mantra. It works like magic. Believe me. Try it for yourself. So these are the reasons, the main reasons why people procrastinate, but chronically. So this is chronic procrastination. This is very deep. Excuse me again. And that kind of procrastination needs work. In both cases, in both procrastinations, the first thing that, or procrastination types, which are the acute procrastination and the chronic procrastination, in both these types, the first thing that you want to do basically is realize that you are procrastinating, because a lot of people actually don't realize that they're doing that. I didn't. For so many years, I didn't know that I was procrastinating on so many things. And I used to call it, or I used to reason with perfection. Like, I want things to be perfect, and this is why I'm taking my time, and this is why I'm doing them. Sometimes, it's taking me way longer. And the other times I would just keep things off until the last minute, which is also procrastinating. And it's a mix of so many things that sometimes you can feel like it's a contradiction, when you are looking for perfection and yet you keep things to the last minute. How can you expect things to be perfect they won't be even good enough, yani not even this good, if you are keeping things to the last minute. So procrastination is something that can be solved, but the first thing, again, remember, is that you have to first realize that you are procrastinating. Once you cross that step, it becomes easier to get out of it. It's way much easier to get out of procrastination when it's an acute procrastination, and it takes a lot more work when you are having chronic procrastination. So for me, it took almost a year or a year and a half for me to get over like all the reasons, because I had so many. I didn't have only one. I didn't have only the fear. I also had the perfectionism. I also had those very high expectation goals or expectations that I set for myself. So I had so many things that I needed to go through to sort procrastination for myself. And stay tuned to the end, because this is what I'm working on with all my clients. This is what I'm helping my clients do, get out of that situation, just like I did, because this is how I did it. And it worked for me. If it worked for me, I'm sure it will work for you. Let's go back to the acute procrastination. I'm going to give you the simplest tips that will help you get out of acute procrastination if this is what you are going through. So basically, because it's also caused by low energy levels and irritation and stuff like that. So the first thing that you want to think of is, once you realize that you are procrastinating, is understanding the reason. Like, what is it? Is it the energy, or is it the irritation? Do you have like some emotional issues going on with you? Or is it the lack of skills? Or is it that you don't like the task? Or is it that you don't like the people that are working with you on that task? So first of all, knowing which reason it is the number one thing that you want to do, so that you can figure it out and figure out how to sort it. Now, there are three main things that you want to do, and you will basically get out of that procrastination. The first thing is, just start. Just get on with it. Put in your mind, even if you don't like the task, or even if you are pushing it, or you don't like it and you just feel like, no, I don't want to do it, whatever it is, just take that first step. The minute you take that first step and you just go, it's like this acceleration process that happens, that you totally forget about procrastination, and you totally forget that you didn't want to do this. So just take that first step, and once you do, that's it. So this is one way of doing it, or this is a good way of doing it. If the issue, for example, is related to your energy levels, you want to think of maybe starting to elevate your energy or use your energy wisely. What I mean by that is, for example, we all have specific peak times in our days, right? So for example, I'm a morning person. I wake up in the morning and I'm so full of energy, and I want to do everything in the morning. And then sometimes I also have that boost of energy in the afternoons, or like closer to the evening. So what I do is I put my major things that I want to work on in those two slots of the day. So you want to use your peak hours to do things when your energy is up and you feel like you can follow through and you can actually finish those tasks. So this is one thing. Another thing is, the minute you feel like you're going to be procrastinating on something, take a break, go walk, or take a nap, And then the minute you come back, go back at it. So don't like go straight back into that task or that job or whatever you are procrastinate or you were starting to procrastinate on. So this is another way of stopping procrastination. Another thing is, especially if you are doing long hours, take proper breaks. Because if you keep on working, then you will, like, if you keep on doing this for so long, you will get bored. And the minute you get bored, this is when you start procrastinating. So take breaks, long breaks, revive your energy, do something that will revive your energy, and then go back. So this is one thing. And another thing is, talk to people, go and mingle a little bit, just get off of that mind that, okay, I don't want to do this, or, oh my God, I'm getting bored. So lift your energy up by talking to people, or if you are irritated, maybe talking to people will calm you down if irritation is the reason why you are procrastinating. So talking to people helps either calm you down or lift your energy up. So either way, it's very helpful for you to stop procrastinating. And the last thing that you can do also is when you are procrastinating, I'll give you an example. It's very funny. We all did it when we were kids. When we were kids and we had homework, and everybody knows how children don't like homework, right? So I used to do it when I used to have a homework and I really didn't want to do the homework, and I was like bored, or it was maybe difficult, or I didn't have the right skills to finish that homework. I would procrastinate. And how would I do that? I would like excuse myself to go to the bathroom, or take a bathroom break, for example, or I would go to the kitchen, try to see if there's anything to eat, or I would just find any reason to get out of my desk, or wherever I would be studying, and just do something else, but not studying. This is how I used to procrastinate. Now, I would have to go back to studying, right? Because I was supposed to. So the same thing is happening if it's happening with you when you are doing any specific task. You can do the same thing. You can stop, take a break, do something else, but that something else, make it something worthwhile. Like, for example, if now I'm doing something and I feel I'm starting to procrastinate, I would stop, and let's say I would clear my drawers. I would clean my drawers, or I would do some dusting in the house. I would do something that is useful to me and that I would be doing anyway. So I use that task to get out of my procrastination and actually build some motivation in me. So, because every time we do something good, it's always important to reward ourselves. So the minute I'm doing this, my motivation becomes higher because I'm doing something useful and I'm doing something good. And then once my motivation is higher, and once my mind is not set on the procrastination anymore, I would go back to whatever I was doing. So these are ways to get out of acute procrastination. And acute procrastination, as I said, is something that does not happen all the time. It could be like a day, an off day that we are having. And one thing I want you to remember is, life is not a marathon. Life has its own process, and it takes, like, it's not sprints, right? So you want to take your time, you want to do things, and it's okay if you push on something for the next day. It's fine. Obviously, if you are not very close to a deadline, but if you are close to a deadline, maybe that's not an option. But sometimes it's an option to just leave something, sleep on it, and do it the next day. So that's an option that you can go for. So that is when we're talking about acute procrastination. And as you saw, like those tips are quite easy to do. They're not very, very difficult tasks to do. And if you keep them in your mind, and remember that mantra, keep those in your mind, you will be able to stop procrastinating, especially when it comes to acute procrastination. Now, the second type of procrastination, which is the chronic one, which is really a deep one, and it requires more work, it requires more time to get out of it, because you are doing deep work, because you are working on your limiting beliefs. You're not just working on, bringing your level of energy a little bit higher. But also sometimes energy is like, when you are, laziness is one of the reasons also why we have chronic procrastination. And laziness is also a limiting belief. Like, you want to ask yourself, why am I lazy? What happened that I became that lazy person? Something triggered that. And when you realize that, then you're working on your limiting belief of you being lazy, because that's in your mind, of having a fear of, whether it's a fear of failure or a fear of success. Both of them are limiting beliefs. Self-sabotage is a limiting belief. When you don't have the assertiveness, it's also something that you can work on. And you can work on it in so many different ways, but there are like very specific processes that you can go through to get out of that specific procrastination when you're not assertive enough. Your lifestyle. Your lifestyle is a huge reason, yours, mine, everybody. Lifestyle is a very big reason why for chronic procrastination. I think I missed saying that. So your lifestyle can easily cause you to procrastinate if you are living the wrong lifestyle, if you are going through a lifestyle that, for example, you don't sleep enough, or you have so many addictions, let's say, right? So these two things mainly, what they do is they drop your energy down. But these are your lifestyle. These are related to your lifestyle. It's not about you having an energy in the morning or not. It's about you having energy at all, because your lifestyle is not allowing you to have the right amount of energy for you not to procrastinate. So going back to that, the main things that need to be worked on, that are your limiting beliefs, would be the fears, the self-sabotage, and your laziness. If you are that person, if your procrastination is caused by your laziness. And another thing that is, when we said that we put ourselves in situations where the things that we want to do, or the aspirations that we don't actually have the skills to do them. So again, this is where we start procrastinating, and this becomes a bigger issue because we do it all the time, and that's why it's a chronic procrastination. So not having skills for something, you either want to change that something into a goal or a passion or a desire that you actually have the skill to fulfill, not something that is not achievable for you. It could be achievable for someone else. And also remember, a lot of time, when we compare, comparison is a very big, like I would say it's a very big no-no, because every time we compare, every time we want to, be like someone else for so and so reasons, it could be for so many reasons, but this, we put ourselves in a comparison process. Then comparison process will either, like, it will put you down because you want to be like that person, you want to be as successful as that person, especially when it comes to, if you are someone who follows social media a lot, and if you are someone who is looking at how other people are living or are succeeding or maybe not succeeding, because you want to remember that, I love this proverb, it's like, not all that you see, not all that glitters is gold. Remember that saying? Not all that glitters is gold. So basically, what you see sometimes doesn't necessarily have to be the reality of that situation with other people, but you want to become that person, or you want to be that person, and you don't have what it needs for you to be that person. And you don't even know if that person is actually going through a lot of hiccups, or they're going through, again, not all that glitters is gold. You never know what's happening behind the scenes. So you want to thrive for something that you actually have the skills to do, that you actually have the skills to fulfill. And in that case, you would not be setting yourself to failure. Like, it's either you set yourself to success and you do it right, so you find the passion that really works for you. You find that goal that like 100% that you can achieve, because you have the passion for it, because you have the skills for it, because you like it, because you will succeed in it, and do that. Now, even if you want to do something else, or you have a different goal, finding a goal that is achievable to you and actually achieving it, remember, when you reward yourself, that motivation process becomes so much higher. So if you actually have a goal that is achievable to you, the minute you achieve it, your motivation becomes so much higher. And then you can go and learn new skills that will enable you to fulfill that goal that you don't have the skills for. So you can learn those skills. And in the meantime, you are working on goals that are achievable, things that you can do. And again, these are like solutions or tips that you can follow that are easy for me to say. You might find that it's difficult for you to actually do them. And this is where I come in, because I made it work for me. It happened to me, and I figured it out. I found out what works for me. I found out how to stop procrastinating myself. And procrastination at that time, it kind of, like, when I look at it now, and I look at it and I see that if I hadn't procrastinated, I wouldn't be doing this today. So I look at it from a positive perspective, and I find how it actually helped me. It helped me become that assertive person that I am today. It helped me become that person who really wants to help. Because when I was going through that, I didn't have anyone to help me. I didn't have anyone to show me the way. I didn't have anyone to tell me, hey, this is what's happening with you. I had no clue. And no one around me, maybe they had a clue, they just didn't tell me, or they just didn't know how to help me, so they couldn't tell me anything. And I like, if I had that person, then I wouldn't be doing this now. So I'm looking at it also from that perspective. But I want to be that person for you. I want to be that person who can help you if I can help you. If your case is something that I know I can help you with. And it all becomes like about, if we're going to go deep, we're going to understand where that procrastination is coming from. How does it form? Is it acute or is it chronic? And if it's chronic, where does it start? Where does it originate? And finding that out, figuring out whether it's fear or self-sabotage, or it's a lifestyle, or it's setting goals that are non-achievable, or going to putting yourself in a situation where you want to do something but you don't have the skills to do that. All of these things, knowing them is one thing, and also doing them is another thing. And this is where I also come in. I can help you through that process. I can guide you. I can be your guide, the guide that I didn't have for myself. So today, this is my invitation to you. If you feel like that topic or the fact of you procrastinating is something that I can help you get out of, or if you even want to know a little bit more about how you can get out of your very specific procrastination type, as I said, there are so many, and you feel like there's something that I can add value to you in your life, where I can add value to you in your life, or where I can support you, even by just having a small discussion, just type no to procrastination below, and I will reach out to you and I will talk to you, and we will see where you are exactly on that spectrum, or where you are in that journey of yours if you're procrastinating. And we will go through how this can be fixed for you, because every single one of us is a special case. So if you feel like I can give you the right support that you need, and I can actually be that guide that can hold your hand throughout that process and show you the way, write no procrastination in the comments below, and I'll make sure that I'm going to be reaching out to you as soon as I can, maybe as soon as you put no procrastination. So, because I don't want to procrastinate, right? Hopefully, today was a little bit of an eye-opener to you, and I hope I was able to give you some tips to help you if you are going through a bad day, which is your acute procrastination. And also for the chronic procrastination, I hope I gave you some tools that will kick you start. But I want to share with you one thing before we leave, that is really, really very important, and that will put you on that, like that will be the first step that will put you in the right direction, or like I call it, that will put you on the train of no procrastination. And this is organize. So I will leave you with that. Organize yourself, everything, your time, your habits, your sleep patterns, your food intake, your movement, Organize that around for yourself in your life. And that will be your first step towards not procrastinating. Again, if I can be your guide and if I can support you in any way you feel like I can, please write no procrastination in the comments below and I'll make sure to reach out to you. And with that, I'm going to say ciao, ciao, and I'll see you again next week.